Okay, guys. So you're very welcome to today's webinar. Today's Be Active Day webinar in association with Europe Active. This initiative is organised by Europe Active, and it's a webinar that we've been conducting over the last couple of years. Today we're partnering with Marie Keating Foundation in the titled webinar "Your Health, Your Choice." Today we'll be talking to Deborah O'Hare, who is our ambassador for this year's Be Active Day. And we're talking to Carl Conway, who is the community and online information nurse for Marie Keating Foundation. And she'll be sharing the campaign, Your Health, Your Choice, and some of the insights in terms of cancer and how exercise can prevent it from happening, but also how you can deal with it if you are dealing with the issue. So I'm just going to explain a little bit more about what is Be Active Day. So Be Active Day is a pan-European campaign that takes place every year on the 23rd of September. So it's just a week out during the European Week of Sport. The initiative celebrates the fun of physical activity and emphasizes the importance of physical activity for people's physical, mental, and social well-being by organizing thousands of free events and activities across the continent. Just some of the numbers, I suppose, from last year across all the national associations that participated in the campaign. There was over 500,000 of people that participated on the day. So it's a very powerful initiative, and we, as a representative association, we want to be part of that, and we are encouraging our members to participate on the day. And it's just trying to grow the numbers of people staying active on the day, but also on a regular basis. In relation to the focus of this year's Be Active Day, so on a yearly basis, a theme is changed to target a specific issue that Europe Active are trying to tackle. So in 2025, the initiative places a particular emphasis on the prevention and management of non-communicable diseases through health enhancing physical activity. So here on the diagram, you can see the four main types of NCDs, which is cardiovascular diseases, cancer, which is going to be the topic that we'll be talking about today, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes. So they're the four main types, and you can see on the right hand side there are numerous other types that are part of the list. I suppose to educate our organisers and our facilities and in general the general public and exercise professionals, Europe Active have published a HEPA guide to provide event organisers with useful tips to ensure that everyone feels empowered to join the fun of the physical activity. So I'll just show you what the guide looks like in very brief. So the guide itself provides best practices, statistics, insights into each four main type of NCDs. So I suppose the guide itself provides helpful information for the organisers, the fitness professional, general public, on how to conduct themselves within their facilities, even open new possibilities for whether if it's exercise classes, workouts, so that they're meeting everyone's needs. So there's a lot of there's a group of people that might not be catered for in certain situations. So it's just kind of ensuring that all those needs are being addressed. So without further ado, I will pass on to our first speaker, Carl Conway, who will be sharing her presentation on Your Health is Your Choice. So, Carl, you can take it away.
Great. Thanks, Val. So I'm just going to share my screen there, and we're going to kick off my talk, Your Health, Your Choice. I just reflecting there on how many people you got involved last year. Gosh, 500,000, Val, isn't that phenomenal? Isn't that wonderful? Get that many people moving. So we're good to go. You can see my screen there, Val. We've all shared. Yeah, great. So on behalf of the Marie Keating Foundation, I would like to thank you very much for inviting us to be part of this today. And to be talking Your Health, Your Choice, with a focus primarily on how exercise research has found how it can help prevent cancer, because we love talking cancer prevention. That's what we're all about. And myself and my other nursing colleagues in the foundation are talking it all day. So what I'll be covering in this session is I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of the Marie Keating Foundation, in case someone on this call doesn't know who we are and isn't aware of the services that we offer. And I'm just going to signpost a few free services that you or a family member, a friend, or a colleague might want to avail of. I'm just going to contextualize very briefly then cancer in Ireland, and how common is it? And that might help maybe focus the thinking around, are there some things in your life, some changes maybe you need to make? Good time of the year to be thinking about it, heading into winter. I'm going to flag what the 7 pillars of cancer prevention are, and what they are in the foundation, and what we're talking about all day, in our hope that people can take on board and look at their lifestyle. And I'm going to zone in on how can exercise help prevent cancer. So I hope some of that's of interest to you. Okay, so who is the Marie Keating Foundation? What is it? What do we do? We've been established for over 26 years. You'll see the photo on the bottom there is Marie Keating herself. She died in 1998 from breast cancer, and she was only 51. Some of you on the call may remember what things were like 26, 27 years ago. You weren't able to attend a webinar. We didn't dial in. We didn't get up-to-date information. We didn't have websites to go to. We probably, if we had a symptom, maybe asked a friend or a family member, and they may have had the most up-to-date information. They may not have. So the family established the Marie Keating Foundation. They didn't want anybody else to go through what they did with their mum, and that's why we're all about providing information around prevention, early detection, which is key, and giving an overview of diagnosis and treatment, and also survivorship. We're a very small team. We're 7 registered nurses like myself out of a total team of 23. You can see in some of the pictures there, we have a mobile information units, and we have 3 of them, one in the south, west, and one in the east. And we go where people want us. We go and talk. We're free of charge in the community. We work a lot with underserved and marginalised communities. So we're busy all day talking about what you can do to prevent developing this disease, and what are the signs and symptoms. So you'll just see the web address there for the Marie Keating. If anybody has any concerns or maybe wants to get some information, our website is very kept up to date. We're also very active on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we have different campaigns. And we were just talking earlier about our prostate campaign at the moment. We will communicate out to the public what are signs and symptoms and what they should do. Very quickly move through these. We do a schools secondary program, and we do community outreach. So if anybody's listening to this and they have a child or a relative in secondary school and we're not going to your school, please contact your school and ask, did you know Marie Keating does a free talk as part of the school's cancer awareness program. Along the top of this slide are 3 groups that we facilitate free of charge. So if you know of somebody who's maybe got advanced cancer or metastatic cancer, we have a positive living meetings, which is facilitated by our Director of Nursing, and this is free of charge. If you know of someone with a mutation in their BRCA gene, we have a support group for that. We're one of the only people really doing work in that area. We offer Survive and Thrive, excuse me, workshops, and we also have a host of podcasts. As recently as 2 weeks ago, I was out working in the community, just to give an example, in one of the mobile units, and a man approached our mobile unit who was out walking his dog, which was great, getting some exercise in the morning, and he had listened to our prostate talks cancer podcast. His friend told him to listen to it because he had some symptoms. That drove him to his GP, and he was subsequently diagnosed after listening to our podcast. It made him go and have a conversation. So we've got some really valuable podcasts there. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to give you a biology lesson, but what is cancer? And I've included this slide because when I talk about exercise and what it can do in your body, it will sort of make sense. So if you can remember from science, our cells in our body grow, they divide, they do their job, and they die off. That's a very simplified description of cell division. Won't pass an exam on that one, but that's what healthy cells do. And you can see the normal cells there, the pink ones. Cancer cells are a little bit cunning. They don't die off, and they keep multiplying, and they can grow at an abnormal rate, and they multiply at an abnormal rate. And you can see in the second diagram there, they can break through the normal tissue and produce a cluster of cells. So that can be like a tumor or a skin lesion, maybe, of abnormal cells, or a lump or a bump. Sometimes those cells can spread to other parts of the body. And I'm sure some of you know of people where their cancer may have spread from the initial site. And sometimes cancer can start from an inherited faulty gene, like the BRCA mutation that I just spoke about, that we have a support group for. So I suppose in simplified terms, cancer is abnormal cell growth. And just hold that slide a little bit in your mind when I'm talking about cell inflammation. Okay, so why do we have to be out in mobile units in the winter rain talking to the public? Why do we have to be doing webinars? Why do we have to be doing podcasts? Well, in the Republic of Ireland, around about 110 to 120 people a day are being told they have cancer. That equates to around about 44,000 people a year. And that's our latest information from our National Cancer Registry report. They put together a report every year with the facts and figures. So we anxiously await that report and to see how we're doing. Just to keep in mind, out of that 44,000, about 1 in 4 of those are of a non-melanoma skin cancer, so a slow grow skin cancer, one that can be completely, don't have to get it if you're very sun smart, you know. 1 in 2 people will be diagnosed with some form of an invasive cancer in their lifetime, and you may be a little surprised at that, how common that is, 1 in 2 of us. So I suppose I get asked a lot in my work. People will say to me, sure, is this not a lottery? You know, if 1 in 2 people, 44,000 people a year, sure, there's nothing I can do. Well, luckily, there is. A lot of international research has shown us that there is. And we talk about the 7 pillars of cancer prevention, and I'm going to have a slide on that in a minute. So we do have some power and control on this. It's about making healthy lifestyle choices, being aware of signs and symptoms, so that'll help if you were one of these people, that you get early detection, and also just, you know, go visit your GP on a regular basis. Positive news, we might have 110, 120 families a year getting this news, but we've got many more people surviving cancer now year on year. We've got over 220,000 people back at work, back playing sport, living their best lives, good quality of life. So when Marie Keating lost her battle with cancer, you know, 26, 27 years ago, it was a devastating diagnosis to be given, but that is not the case nowadays, all right? So the 7 pillars of cancer prevention, I'd love to talk about all of them. I can't, but I just want you to know there is some power and control on this, that what we can do. And I think when you look down this list, none of these things will probably come as a surprise to you. They're easy to choose. They're common sense. By choosing to make some changes, even small changes in our life, and if we really are fully aware of these 7 pillars, we can reduce our chance of developing cancer by up to 50%. Also tagged onto that is early detection. Know your signs and symptoms. Implement the 7 pillars in your life. Be aware of your body. Visit a GP as soon as you can if something's not right. So don't use tobacco. Be aware of passive smoking. If you're not a smoker, caution, just adding it in here, caution around vapes. Protect your skin from the sun. Be sun smart. I know you're thinking, really? We're in Ireland? Yes. 11,000 cases of skin cancer a year now in Ireland. We need to cop on and be sun smart. We just need to. We need to realize that the yellow thing in the sky, even if it's covered with a few clouds, can still damage our skin. Eat a healthy diet and maintain a healthy weight. Probably nobody might have told you that you need to pay attention to your diet and your weight, because being obese or overweight may increase your chance of cancer. And I'm going to revisit that one in the context of physical activity. There it goes, highlighted there for you, Val. Be physically active. There it goes. It's one of the seven pillars. Limit your intake of alcohol. Know how many units a week. 11 as a woman, 17 as a man. People are surprised in my day job when I talk about that cancer is a carcinogenic. It means that it can cause cancer. A lot of people don't realize that. So there's real power and control there around that one. You can moderate your intake. Take the HPV, human papillomavirus vaccine, if you're eligible. It's given to the offer to parents is given to first year boys and girls at secondary school, and participate in cancer screening. Our national screening program, we have cervical screening if you're born with the cervix. We have the mammogram, which is the screening of the female breast. And we have bowel screen, which is donating a sample of your stool or poo from 59 to 70 years of age, free test every 2 years. So that's the 7 pillars. Just keep them in your mind, take notes about the 7, talk to your friends and family about the 7. You can go to our website, mariekeating.ie, and read more detail around those 7 things if you're interested. So before we get into how can we prevent cancer, how good are we doing in Ireland? How active are we? So we do a Healthy Island survey. We don't do it, but the government do it every year. They do that to obviously help inform policy and also to maybe monitor how well they're doing. Is that policy being implemented? Is it having impact? So in the Healthy Island Survey 24, just under 7,400 people were involved in that survey, and its findings from October 23 to April 24. So 41% of people report being moderately active for at least 2.5 hours, which is the recommended 41%. So there's work to be done, isn't there, Val? I'm sure you're looking at it in your organisation, look at that report and you go, we've got more work, we've got to encourage, we've got to promote. The positive here is that 67% of those individuals that didn't meet the physical activity guidelines, they want to become more active. There is motivation there. So there's good news there. I've just included the findings regarding us being overweight and obese because I am going to talk about how physical exercise, of course, may help us stop gaining weight. So you might be a bit surprised at this finding. In 2021, the European Commission did a survey and found that we were the second highest obesity rate in the EU. And I kind of breathe in when I say that because I think, oh gosh, it's really concerning thinking and seeing that. 63% of men versus 50% of women report being overweight or obese measurements in 2024. So again, physical activity, as we know, it can help us not gain weight and it may help us lose weight. So the kind of, I couldn't talk about physical activity and not talk about the other pillar of eat well and maintain a healthy weight. Okay, so exercise, movement, physical activity, whatever words you want to use. And in my work in the community, I sometimes don't use that word exercise, and Val, you might find that is, why don't I? Sometimes when we use exercise, it can frighten people. They're thinking gym, they're thinking a formal program. So it's getting moving, it's moving yourself, it's being physically active. So how can it reduce your risk of getting cancer? I'm sure all of you on the call know that it can help with heart disease. It can help avoid diabetes. But what it does in our body is it regulates hormones like estrogen and insulin in our blood. Those hormones are messages in our blood which tell our cells in our body how to act. So whether to increase cell division or increase cell production. So they're messages in our blood system. They're very important hormones. Exercise also increases the movement of food through your bowel. And when we're talking bowel, we're talking the pipework that is from your stomach to your backside. So if you put your hand on your belly button and you just think, or even think of your mid part of your body, this is the pipework that's going down and from your stomach down to your back passage. What movement does, or exercise, is it moves that food. It stops it being static in your bowel. If food sits in your bowel, it can cause inflammation on the lining of the bowel. There might be chemicals coming out of the food. So if the lining of the bowel is constantly being inflamed for a long period of time, it needs to be repaired. And what can happen is that increased cell division can go on, and there's a mistake potentially in multiplying cells can happen. So it's as simple as it moves the food through, it reduces inflammation in the bowel. Anywhere there's inflammation at a cellular level in our body, if there's inflammation, there's cell damage being repaired, and we can get a mistake made with that cell division. So that goes back to that slide that I showed you about what is cancer. So it's pretty simple. Physical activity reduces your risk, and you may never have been told this, reduce the risk of breast in the postmenopausal and the uterus or the womb, because with exercise, you may reduce estrogen, and some of the cancers in breast and in uterine cancer are fueled by the hormone estrogen. And we've already spoken about how you can reduce your risk in your large bowel. So I'm sure some of you on the call never realize that. Being inactive increases your risk of becoming overweight or obese. So, which in turn, obesity is a factor for causing cancer. 40% of our cancers now are caused in people that are overweight or obese. So how much activity should we be doing? We've got to aim to move at least 30 minutes a day if we can. We can break it up. We can do it in 10-minute cycles. It can be vigorous housework. It can be vigorous gardening, walking up and down the stairs, getting away from the laptop and doing a quick lunch walk, just moving, whatever your movement is. You're talking 2.5 hours of moderate exercise so that you start to feel a bit warm. That means your heart rate's getting up, and you're probably feeling a bit puffed. You're just starting to lose your breath a little bit. Children, we should aim to get 60 minutes of movement into their life daily. Okay, I've just got that picture there to say to you, are you an active couch potato? I know I am. Put my hand up and admit it. You might get your 30 minutes in, your walk or your jog in the day, or in the gym and you're on the exercise cycle. But are you sitting? Are you sitting streaming? Are you sitting down the rest of the time? We've got to make a conscious effort to move. So it overall contributes to better health, better heart health, all those things if we move. I did mention about how exercise, or physical movement in our daily life, can reduce the chance of inflammation in our bowel. It moves the food through our bowel, and it can reduce the hormones insulin and estrogen. What it also can do is stop you gaining weight, and it can help you lose weight. Obesity is considered the new smoking in cancer terms, and I just have re-quoted there the percentage of us that are overweight or obese in the Healthy Island survey. So cancer is more common in overweight or obese people. So here we go, power and control in our hands. We can eat a healthy diet. We can know our weight. If we feel that we're carrying too much weight, seek support. Talk to your GP, your practice nurse. Get moving if you can. There you go. That's obesity. That's the risk of the cancers for obesity. Large bowel, breast, endometrial or uterine womb cancer, esophageal or your food tube, pancreas, kidney and gallbladder. It's a good motivation to really maybe make you think, can you put some changes into your life around moving. One last thing I'm going to cover before Derval is going to get on and talk. I don't want to hog her time, is if we are outside moving, we've just also got to remember, be sun smart. Being sun smart is one of our 7 pillars of cancer prevention. Skin cancer is our #1 cancer in Ireland for men and women now, 11,000, just under 11,000 cases a year. So if you are out cycling, swimming, walking, running, whatever you're doing, just make sure you employ the sun smart rules. The yellow thing in the sky is dangerous in Ireland, and our UV index, which is published every day by Met Éireann, tells us how dangerous the sun is every day. It tells us whether that sun could give us skin cancer literally every day. That tells us how dangerous it is. So just employ the Sun Smart code, know your index, put proper clothes on for exercising outside, stick a hat on your head, get some sunnies and put them on, pop the sunscreen on, and away you go, get moving. So exercise can reduce the risk of breast, bowel, and womb cancer. That's great news. Just try anything. Get active, get moving. And you're aiming for 30 minutes a day. That's 2.5 hours a week. Ultimately, you want to do more, but if you can achieve the 30 minutes, that's happy days, a good day's work. Okie doke. That's me. Um, I hope I've stuck to time because I don't want to interrupt with my
No,
colleagues' talk. I'm looking forward to it.
no,
Thank you very much.
that's that's perfect, Cole.
And
That was a lovely short presentation, but a lot of active points that you cover there. I suppose just to start off with everyone listening here, start off with the 7 pillars I call, mentioned about prevention. Those are the quick steps that you can start from the beginning. Obviously, we're talking about physical activity and limiting obesity and overweight, but other pillars are just as important. Um, but just before I do start with Dervla call, I just have one question for you.
yeah.
Um, the statistics say that 41% of the people are staying regularly active,
Mm,
but it says that 67% do still want to be active,
mm,
but
mm,
they're not meeting that number.
mm.
In relation to maybe some of the cancer survivors, if you've spoken to, what is their barrier to being active, if you have any?
Yeah, I don't think there's one particular barrier, and I suppose anybody's cancer journey is their own. It's not the same for everybody, and I mean sometimes for people if they are in their survivorship, it may be just that their medications mean that they don't have energy. It could be that they're getting over surgery. It may be that they're in the throes of active treatment, and they're fighting that fight, and they really just don't have that energy to get active, maybe feeling a bit isolated. So there's not one thing, and there's many things. I suppose what that statistic from the Healthy Island survey just reinforces for me, I meet many people in my work every day who aren't moving enough. They know they're not, and they'll tell you they're not. And they will ask all the time for tips around how to get more active. And I always deliver the message very simple, Val. If you overcomplicate it, if people think this is a really complicated thing to get moving in, I keep it as simple as saying to people, keep a pair of walking or running shoes at your front door. You've come in from work, you've got busy doing whatever you're doing in the house. Make sure those shoes go on your feet before you go to bed. Start that first, even if it's a 10-minute walk out the front door. So it's about just keeping it simple, the message. Yeah. But
Yeah,
in relation to a cancer patient or a cancer survivor, the barriers, there's various barriers depending on where they are in their journey.
yeah. I suppose just the general guidance is just to get started any way you
Mm,
possibly can. For us, as an organisation, we just encourage the facilities to open the doors to everyone and to encourage anyone to get active any way possible.
mm,
That's why this part of Be Active Day is to open doors to everyone. Hopefully, somebody that hasn't even participated in a workout or in an exercise session inside a facility to try something new. If you have a buddy that has an idea of participating in these type of sessions, but might be kind of lacking a bit of confidence, just encouraging them to try them out with yourself, so that he has a person that kind of is coming with him. And just again, just to back up what Carl says, um, go to mariekeating.ie. They have a lot of very beneficial, helpful resources on their website, and follow them on their social media across all the channels, because they are very active and they're consistently sharing, whether if it's new campaigns that they're launching, and any helpful insights for people. So going on to next with Dervla O'Hare. Dervla was part of the webinar last year, and it went really well. We got really good responses. They found the session very powerful. So we couldn't not think of bringing her on again this year, especially with the theme of this year's campaign. So Dervla, thank you very much for joining us this year as our Be Active Day ambassador. I suppose to start off, maybe you can share a little bit about your journey from your back surgeries to your cancer diagnosis and where you are today.
Sure, no worries. Thanks for the lovely intro, Val. No pressure, eh? But I'm delighted to be part of the webinar with yourself and with Carl as well for Be Active Day 2025. So yeah, certainly happy to share my summary of my journey. And I can see Carl is smiling there because she knows I hate that word. Because to me, a journey it used to mean like an adventure, maybe one that preferably involved passport and cocktails on a beach. But unfortunately, cancer journey is more like a kind of a window seat in an oncology infusion suite hooked up to a cocktail of chemos. But yeah, just to give a little bit of context and background to my story. So my health roller coaster began in mid 2020. So I banjaxed my back during COVID and I ruptured a few discs. And that left me with that kind of unforgiving sciatica pain down your left leg. And then what followed on from that was kind of a series of epidural steroid injections. And unfortunately, they didn't bring relief. So I had a planned surgery in December 2020, back up on my feet, walking 5K, delighted with life. But I banjaxed my back again on New Year's Day 2021, so a few weeks later. So I had emergency surgery then. So happy New Year to me. But it was a tough, it was a miserable, slow, painful rehab, and it took about 6 months, I'd say, just slowly building back up, walking again, going from the couch to the front door, from the front door around the corner to the shop, just trying to be that little bit better each day. So it was the world's slowest version of couch to 5K. But I'd just gotten back on my feet then, back to work, all that good stuff, and I found a lump. So I was officially diagnosed then with breast cancer in September 2021. So it's almost 4 years to the day. So 24th of September, don't think you ever forget the date that you've been diagnosed. But my treatment then, it started in October of 2021. And, thankfully it was with curative intent. So it consisted of 19 months of chemotherapies and immunotherapies, and I had 3 surgeries as well. But then I think it was early 2023, and I was still in active treatment, and I signed up to the Marie Keating Foundation Survive and Thrive program that was facilitated by the wonderful Carl here. So that program was exactly what I needed, I suppose, at exactly the right time. So it just helped rebuilding confidence because your confidence is pretty shattered when you get the cancer diagnosis. But it actually helped me to start, believing in and being hopeful about the future. And it kickstarted 2 lovely passion projects, one being writing and the other being exercise. So it's a lovely full circle moment today, being online here with yourself again, Carl.
No, that's brilliant. I suppose like it must have been those 3 years. It must have been very, very tough. I suppose, was there a moment where I suppose you participating in physical activity that kind of gave you a sense of control and gave you a bit of normality during your treatment?
100%. I think game changer for me around exercise and recovery, particularly from the cancer diagnosis. It was literally the day after my mastectomy surgery, and I remember a physio came into the ward, and she started to, she asked me about my expectations, goals, all of that. And because I had the experience of the back surgeries pre-diagnosis, I had that first-hand experience of how quickly you can lose your mobility and how quickly it can be taken away. Classic use it or lose it. And to be honest, I was terrified of that happening again during treatment, but I was also terrified of injuring myself again. And then you were talking about barriers there earlier, the thoughts of going back to mainstream gym while still in treatment and you're just feeling so vulnerable, it's a lot. But once I recovered from the surgeries, I was very lucky to be able to attend 2 physio-led strength training classes per week. I think it was for about 8 to 12 weeks. Um, and those classes, they honestly played a massive part of my overall recovery because they just gave me that routine outside of all of those, numerous hospital appointments. And then they just, they helped mentally, physically, emotionally, right through the rest of my treatment. I gave all those fancy stats on how they help, with your tolerance of chemos, recovery from surgeries. But I think, as you mentioned, like most importantly, exercise just made me feel like me again. And it just allowed me to take back some of that control during that time, that can sometimes feel really, really out of control. And I actually remember feeling quite emotional after the first class that I did, because it was the first time in a very long time that I kind of had hope that I could build myself back up again, albeit slowly. But it was the first time that I also realized I didn't have to wrap myself in cotton wool, and I could actually push myself. gradually and slowly because it was all done, under this physio supervision as well. So, like exercise, it still makes me feel stronger, more confident. It still helps with all of those lingering side effects. Like, I don't think anyone gets through cancer treatment without some of those lingering side effects, like joint pain, menopause, all that good stuff. But studies are really showing like how exercise really stacks the odds in your favor when it comes to prevent recurrence in the future. So it's a no-brainer, really, definitely. I think I mentioned before that, you just have this completely different mindset about exercise, particularly post cancer treatment. It's not about the PBs that you hear, and it's not about the bikini bod. It's about restore your confidence, build back your strength, and then age like a badass, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Look, as we know, like exercise just gives you a lift, it gives you energy, it gives you a boost, and I suppose with that moment that you're in, you're kind of feeling so low. The energy is not there.
Mm.
You're just looking for any ounce of a little bit of a lift, and exercise does that
Yeah.
for us. Um, so we know that after treatment, you made the incredible step of retrain as a personal trainer and cancer exercise specialist. What inspired you to take that path?
Yeah, I had a bone to pick with cancer. Yeah, I can remember. I think I unplugged from the chemo on a Friday, and then I found myself training to be a personal trainer in the National Training Centre, and I subsequently qualified as cancer exercise specialist with Can Rehab Trust and as a strength and conditioning coach. And at the moment I'm doing some mountain skills training. So kind of my journey from patient to powerlifting or patient to the peaks. But these are things that I never would have dreamt possible when I was in the throes of back surgeries and chemo. But the courses, they keep me busy, doing something that I really love, and it's just given me, the knowledge, I suppose, and the confidence as well to be able to adapt exercises, and now I know how to safely modify things if I need. But I guess the why, it was really down to when I was first diagnosed. I wasn't aware of the immense benefits of exercise before or during treatment. And I wish I had been told at the point of my diagnosis, because when you're first diagnosed and you hear the three words, you've got cancer, it feels like everything is out of your control. And there's the first few weeks, especially when you're just waiting to, you're staging, you're grading, what's your treatment plan, it's torture. So I think it'd just be so good if we could educate patients, on the benefits of prehab. So just preparing you, getting you strong for your surgery, getting you strong for your chemo, building strength to prepare you for the next phase of your treatment. That's just going to give you back some control so that you can do something that's really going to help you and just get you through that storm as well. So, Carl mentioned there, the harsh reality is one in two of us are going to get cancer in our lifetime. But thankfully, we are living well, we're living longer with and beyond cancer. And then, as Carl would say, thriving, not just surviving. So, if we can empower patients to just, help them exercise safely, when they're going through and recovering from cancer, then that's just going to make such a massive difference to their overall quality of life, physically and mentally. So, yeah,
Yeah. No,
movement is
that's yeah,
medicine.
like the can rehab course that you mentioned, we run that through Skillnet, and we encourage organizers and facilities to upskill their fitness professionals to make them aware that people post cancer they do might need to be catered for a little bit differently. They need a special kind of treatment, and they need to be addressing those kind of scenarios with extra care. And as you said, everyone's needs are different. I know that Marie Keating has a great resource on their website in terms of best practices for post breast surgery in terms of exercise. So make sure to look, as I said, all the resources from Marie Keating's Foundation in regarding treatment and prevention. Back to Derval again, just as an ambassador, we'd like to get a bit of your advice. So, as this year's ambassador, what message do you hope to share with others who may be hesitant or unsure about getting active?
I'd say speak with your team and find yourself a physio or a cancer exercise specialist, and just go for it. I think being active is something that's within your control. And yeah, I promise you, it'll be the best decision that you make for your overall recovery, mentally, physically, the whole lot. And I'd say, take it slowly. Um, Progress is not going to be linear, definitely not during treatment. But there's a nice saying, exercise to energize, not exhaust. So, always keep something in the tank. So, yeah, I'd love to see more awareness around exercising in cancer. Just seeing patients been supported and educated right from the point of diagnosis that I just mentioned earlier, just so that everyone understands that not only is it safe for you to be active, but also the benefits of exercising before, during, and after cancer diagnosis and on into survivorship. And then hopefully in the not too distant future, we're going to see cancer becoming a prescribed part of everyone's treatment. Just helping everyone get back after the fight of their life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, as you said, like it's not an idea of somebody, entering a marathon or some sort of a bodybuilding competition that, they need to stay active. It's just a case of getting outside the doors, even if it's for a walk, and then gradually building, as we said, kind of baby steps. And if you aspire to do something extreme, go ahead and, go for it. But I suppose the idea is just to really just get out there, get your body moving, and get away from that kind of sedentary state. Before, I know you have a special poll from us that you shared with us last year, and you're going to share with us today. But the final question that I have for you is, and I know you're an avid hiker. So what's next for you on your own fitness journey? And as I said, I know that you're going to be taking the More Mountains Challenge in your sights. So what's next for Dervla O'Hare?
God, yeah, I've really got into hiking this summer, and I've just been roping everybody that I can into going for a hike. It's they're going to avoid me now that the weather's turned. But I did attempt the Mourne Mountain 7 Sevens there. It was last month, and that was to help raise awareness and funds for breast cancer as well. But me and my inflatable boob bowed out gracefully after I think it was 9 hours. Didn't make the last checkpoint in time, but I'm actually going up this Saturday and going to finish it out because I have a score to settle with it. And yeah, I've just started some mountain skills training as well, and some lowland leader training. So I'm really looking forward to maybe some new adventures around hiking. So we'll see.
Brilliant, yeah. Well, as I said, best of luck. I know that it's next weekend, so we're really looking forward to seeing how we get on. I'm sure whatever weather is going to be, I'm sure
Yeah,
you're gonna
not
go for
great,
it.
but anyway, we'll give it a
Um,
bash.
yeah. Well, I suppose look, we'll give you again the opportunity to share your poem. It's very powerful, and I'm sure it'll push a lot of strings for a lot of people here. So maybe you can share that with us, please.
Sure. So yeah, this I wrote this poem to describe what it feels like when you're embarking on an exercise program during cancer treatment, and it's called Exercise as Medicine. It's like winning the lottery. In fact, it's better than wealth. To be in the full of your senses with good mind and body health. After a cancer diagnosis, they both take a hit. As part of your recovery, you need time to get fit. It's not about a bikini bod or having perfect form. It's to be healthy and happy and ultimately stronger than your storm. The goal is to feel well while learning a new skill and hopefully replacing some medicines with time on a treadmill. They say it's good for the heart, it's also good for the head. It's great for routine and gets you up out of bed. Stretches your muscles and strengthens your bones. It clears out your mind and gets you off those damn phones. I squeeze into my lycra and dust off my gym shoes. I say goodbye to my wobbly bits, hopefully soon to be yesterday's news. I wish there was a safe space to work out where no one would care as I rock up to the gym, wrapped in lycra with a wonky boob and no hair. Unfortunately, this time my fears weren't abated. I'm surrounded by gym bunnies and feel totally gym intimidated. I meet with my trainer. He's perfectly sculpted like a T-bone steak. I feel like an imposter, an alien. I'm truly a fake. Trying not to feel self-conscious or silly or stupid, it boils down to the simple fact: if you don't move it, you lose it. After the slightest exertion, I'm already at a puff. My current physique is more buffet than buff. It feels like hell right now, but tomorrow I'll be glad when I begin to feel the muscles I never knew I had. I mount an exercise bike and elegantly throw over my leg. I'm sure I have a six pack hiding in there somewhere. It's just buried deep under a keg. I build up a sweat as I stifle my giggles. How I wish I had eyebrows to catch all the dribbles. I get down on a mat to try something called a burpee. I manage about 5, even though the instructor said 30. 20 jumping jacks later, and I'm hotter than hell. And I'm handed some yoke. He calls it a kettlebell. He tells me to squat with my kettlebell is swinging. I'm already pooped, and it's just a warm up. The class is only beginning. I survived all 40 minutes. Thankfully, it wasn't any longer. This marks the beginning of my comeback, and I vow to come back stronger. I'm now a regular gym goer. In fact, I have an annual subscription. I'm living proof that exercise is medicine, just without a prescription. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well done. Well, fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
That's beautiful, Dervla. Yeah, like
Great.
it touches all the points that we're trying to address with this campaign. It's not a idea of trying to look a certain way or again trying to be a professional athlete in any case. It's just we know that exercise gives so much energy, and it prevents a lot of diseases. For what we're talking about, cancer and all the other non-communicable diseases that we've discussed earlier. So it's just encouraging people to get more active, and we're really, as I said, we're really encouraging facilities to host events, to address different issues that people could be dealing with, and they need to meet those needs. Again, I would like to thank Dervla for sharing her story, because I know that can be easy because it brings back a lot of memories that you don't want to remember of. But you sharing a story can can bring a lot of people's attention to maybe they need to kind of check something out themselves. Whether if it's from the facilities point of view, that maybe they need to upskill their personal trainers, their exercise professionals in this area as well, which we are really trying to do as an association. So thank you again for sharing your story, and
Pleasure.
Carl, thank you for sharing all the insights from the point of Marie Keating Foundation, your health, your choice. Again, make sure to look at that campaign, guys, and focus on those 7 pillars that Carl mentioned as well, and be sure to look at all the resources. Now, before I finish up, I will just share my screen again, and I will just go through how you can register your facility on our website. So if you can see, I hope you all can see this.
Yep.
Perfect. So I just move this here. So if you go on irelandactive.ie, you will see here in events. So when you go down to events, you will see Be Active Day 2025. So when you press on that, that will bring you to our dedicated page on Be Active Day. So this will just provide you with a lot of information about what the Be Active Day is, when it is on. So it's on 23rd of September, which is next week. Again, it'll tell you about what the actual theme is for this year. So as we said, it's about preventing and managing non-communicable diseases through health-enhancing physical activity. So if you click on this link here, Help a Guide, it will bring you to a PDF file about this guide. And again, it provides a lot of information in relation to non-communicable diseases and insights and best practices for each case. So I really thoroughly encourage everyone to go to the guide and read through it, because there's a lot of helpful information. In relation to registering your event in your facility, you can press on host an event, and it will just bring you to an application form to apply to register an event in your facility. So whether if it's a school, an organization, a sports center, whatever it is, you can register. You don't have to be as such a member of Ireland Active. So the more the better. So here it's very quick. You can scan through it yourself. So please do register an event if you can. And then if you scroll down further down the line, you obviously see our lovely Dervla O'Hare here and our 2 ambassadors, Leo Cluxton from the Irish Heart Foundation. You can read their stories. Here are our active partners. Again, Marie Keating Foundation, Irish Heart Foundation, and Satanta College. And finally, here you come down, you can see find an activity near me. So here in Ireland, we currently have 34 registered facilities that are going to be hosting events on the day. So if you click on any of these little markers, you will see a facility that will be hosting events and a description of what events they'll be doing on the day. It'll provide a website if you want to go, if you have to book your classes on the day. You will have an email for the contact and the address as well if you are planning to attend one of the facilities. And then finally, here you will see a link to download all Be Active Day 2025 resources. So as you can see here, this includes event posters and social media graphics, promotion templates and logos. This is just to help you promote the events that you will be conducting on the day. It'll also have the HEPA guide that we've discussed as well, event planning guides, Be Active Day branding assets, but also it'll have all the resources from our active partners. So from what we talked about with Marie Keating Foundation, we have a bulk load of all resources that they shared with us, whether if it's the Your Health, Your Choice campaign that they had. There's a lot of lovely infographics that may be helpful for you. And same as from Irish Heart Foundation, there's a lot of helpful information in relation to heart and cardiovascular diseases. And then finally, just to finish off, if you have any questions from our end, you can email me at val.cizikas@irelandactive.ie, or you can call us as well. So if you have any questions in relation to the campaign and how we can get involved, please get in touch with me. Be sure also to look at us at social media across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We are regularly active. We share if there's any new register facilities that will be conducting events on the day itself. So as I said, it's a week out, but there's still plenty of time to get involved and get more people more active, which is what we're initially trying to do. So I will leave it at that. Again, thank you very much, Dervla, for sharing your journey, your story, and the lovely poem. Thank you, Carl Conway, for sharing the insights from Marie Keating Foundation. Thank you for Marie Keating Foundation from coming on board and being an active partner for this year's campaign. We really appreciate your support. This webinar was recorded, so we will be sharing this on our YouTube channels for anyone that hasn't seen. So we'll be sharing with our members, and we'll share it across the social media pages as well. So for anyone that wasn't able to participate in this webinar today, that they can review it again at a later time when they're free. So thank you again very much, guys, and we really look forward to the 23rd of September to see as many people active on the day. So thank you very much, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.